Hi, thanks again for joining us for DCI's weekly update on EEO-1 Component 2. My name's Amanda Bowman, and I'm joined by my colleague Lily Kerr. And we actually have two really big topics we wanted to chat about today, updates. So as you may have noticed on the NORC website, August 15th, that the batch upload feature is now available. And I would say it's quite impressive. NORC has been right on time. So if you recall, EEOC is required to give periodic updates to the court regarding progress towards the filing, and they projected that this batch upload would be available, August 15th, or they were also saying mid-August, and right on time yesterday, it is now available for employers, which is great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Amanda, if I'm an employer, how can I expect to access the data upload?
Yep, no, great question, especially if you haven't logged in yet. So you will need your user ID and information to log in and set up your password, which you should have received from EEOC. They've been sending out communications directly to employers. So it's not until you log in that you'll then see on your main page a way to navigate to the batch upload. And then you'll be able to upload, or you're required to upload, the 2017 data file independent of the 2018 file. And hopefully everyone knows this, and you or your team have been referring to the file specifications that are posted on the EEO-1 NORC website. So you really, in order to do the batch upload feature, your file needs to meet all those specifications. And in case you've not been checking weekly, those specifications were updated as of August 8th. So if you haven't checked, there were some minor kind of validation updates that they made to the file. So definitely be referring to those resources. And then as a reminder, the help desk is there, to help you. There's a phone number and email that you can reach out to. So that's for questions about how to set up your data, but then also if you run into any issues while filing. So it's a great resource.
And speaking of the help desk, DCI has noticed that a couple of minor updates have been made to the FAQ page. So first, you can now print the FAQs, which is exciting.
Which is awesome. Rather than copying and pasting individually, that print feature was life-changing for us. So.
Yes. And then another update that we noticed is that they have added a new FAQ to answer how employers can handle accommodating employees who identify as non-binary in their reporting. And so the EEOC recommends that you do not include these employees in your location counts, and rather include them in the comment box of the applicable report. And when you include them in the comment box, you have to lead it with additional employee data and include the count of employees, the job category, the pay band, and the racial group.
Yeah, so essentially you're repeating out, you're essentially qualitatively describing what would have been in the chart, right? And if there was a non-binary, essentially, column for you to fill out for gender. And I think that's really interesting that you have to start out, Lily mentioned a specific statement that you have to start your reporting within kind of the written text box. So I think that's interesting. My guess is maybe EEOC or NORC needs that in order to search your comments and find data points that are not in kind of the table with everybody else. So I just find that very, very interesting. And furthermore, for folks that maybe seem a little bit surprised by this, you're not alone. This is kind of a significant change, as far as historically EEO-1 reporting is concerned. So if you think about Component 1 or the typical report that we file, long-standing guidance for EEOC has always been that you must fit your employees, those counts, into either a male or female category. If you don't have that information, the EEOC EEO-1 website still says that you must use visual ID or potentially documentation, like employee documentation, to fill out that information. So this is definitely a departure. Now, non-binary is certainly a new option for a lot of states as far as for driver's licenses and applications. So it's certainly a newer issue. So we're not entirely sure, as far as in the future, where this is going. But I do want to draw a distinction that non-binary and unknown are not the same. So the long-standing guidance from EEOC for reporting has been to address when information is unknown for sex or for race, right? Mm-hmm. And that you then use visual ID or or documentation, but if someone responds as being non-binary gender, that's not unknown, right? They are non-binary. And so it's certainly a change, and we will see where things go. We certainly can't predict the future, I think, but I think that FAQ is something everyone needs to be aware of, especially if you're an employer that has non-binary information.
Yeah, so Amanda, this whole process seems to be kind of time consuming. What can we expect in future years if the Component 1 and the Component 2 filings remain separate like they are this year?
Yeah, right. Especially, this year where you had to do 2 separate filings, Component 1, Component 2. We don't know what next year is going to look like, if it'll just be 1 filing or a combined filing, or really what the future is. I would hope, though, that this non-binary option, assuming it remains an option and or becomes an option for Component 1, that functionality is built into the reporting so that you can do this in a batch upload feature rather than doing what you described and doing it in a very written format that is not as user-friendly for both employers, or that's not going to be user-friendly for EEOC or NORC either. So I don't know what the future looks like, but I hope the future is a little bit better operationally, I would say. So something for maybe NORC and EEOC to work towards. But yeah, we'll see.
Yes. Thanks for watching. DCI will continue to keep you updated on all things Component 2 via these weekly video blogs, or you can also stay updated by subscribing to our alerts. So stay tuned.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks.